blues fans? So glad you're here. Time for the next episode of This Week in the Blues. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen, with the blues band Big Train and the Locomotives. We're just trying to keep the blues alive, one video, one podcast, one social media post, and when we're out playing, one song at a time. So, we have a great episode this week, so let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history.
Blues piano player Lafayette Leake was born June 1st back in 1919. He worked at Chess Records as a session musician and played on many of your favorite blues classics, including many Chuck Berry's recordings like Johnny B. Goode and Rock and Roll Music. From the 1950s to the 1970s, backing many chess musicians, including Howlin' Wolf, Billy Boy Arnold, Otis Rush, Junior Wells, Little Walter, Homesick James, Sonny Boy Williamson, Buddy Guy, and Coco Taylor. Yeah, he worked with all of them. During the 1960s, Leake was a member of the Chicago Blues All-Stars and toured and recorded with them until the mid-1970s. Blues Delta singer, guitar player, and songwriter Boyd Gilmore was born June 1st in 1905 or possibly June 12th, 1910. Among the songs he wrote were All in My Dreams, I Believe I'll Settle Down, and I Love My Little Woman. Gilmore also recorded a version of fellow Delta bluesman Robert Johnson's track, Ramblin' on My Mind. After his brief recording career, Gilmore performed in juke joints in the Delta for a while. He also performed regularly in St. Louis and in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, during a period which he lived in a boarded-up abandoned house. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Blues piano and guitar player Leonard Baby Doo Gaston was born on June 2nd, 1917. He learned to play piano under the influence of Leroy Carr and Art Tatum. Talk about a couple of mentors. Gaston is noted for the tracks Blues at Midnight and I'm Gonna Walk Your Log. He was born in Sumrall, Mississippi, and lived in Chicago from 1934 to 1936, but then moved back to Mississippi after his family relocated to Natchez. Memphis Minnie was born June 3rd in 1897. She was one of the most popular and prolific blueswomen of her day, and she earned the respect of critics, the support of record-buying fans, and the unqualified praise of the blues artists she worked with throughout her long career. Now, her real name is Lizzie Douglas, and she recorded around 200 tracks, some of the best known being Bumblebee, Nothin' and Ramblin', and Me and My Chauffeur Blues. Despite their southern roots and popularity, she was as much a Chicago blues artist as anyone in her day. Big Bill Brunzi recalls her beating both him and Tampa Red in a guitar contest and claims she was the best woman guitarist he had ever heard. Blues piano player Buster Pickens was born June 3rd in 1916. Now, he was born in Hempstead, Texas, and by the 1930s, Pickens and others were part of the Santa Fe circuit, named after touring musicians utilizing the Santa Fe freight trains to get from one point to another. Pickens later accompanied Alger Texas Alexander and regularly performed with Lightnin' Hopkins and played on several of Hopkins' albums in the early 1960s. Pickens was shot dead by his cousin after an argument in a bar in Houston in November 1964. Chicago blues guitar player Jimmy Rogers was also born on June 3rd in Ruleville, Mississippi. He learned to play the harmonica with his childhood friend Snooky Pryor, and as a teenager took up the guitar. He was best known for his work as a member of Muddy Waters Band in the early 1950s. His solo career included the hits That's All Right, Chicago Bound, Walkin' By Myself, and Rock This House. He withdrew from the music industry at the end of the 1950s, but returned to recording and touring in the 1970s. By 1995, Rogers was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. I want to tell you a little Delta history about the town of Greenville, Mississippi, and one of its most notable streets. One epicenter of African American business and entertainment in the Delta was Nelson Street. Businesses like nightclubs, cafes, churches, groceries, barbershops, record shops, and others did a bustling trade. Famous blues clubs on the street included the Casablanca, the Flowing Fountain, and the Playboy Club. Blues singer Willie Love showed a little love for the street in his 1951 recording of Nelson Street Blues. Blues guitar player Tinsley Ellis was born June 4, 1957 in Atlanta, Georgia, and then grew up in South Florida. According to Billboard magazine, nobody has released more consistently excellent blues albums than Tinsley Ellis. He sings like a man possessed and wields a mean lead guitar. Rolling Stone magazine went on to say, on assertive originals and standards by the likes of Jimmy Reed and Junior Wells, Tinsley Ellis unleashes feral blues guitar. Okay, enough said. This guy is a serious blues guitar player that is doing his best to keeping the blues alive, and we love that. He continues to record and tour, so take this opportunity to go catch him live if you can. You can find out more details on his website at tinsleyellis.com. Country blues singer and guitar player Lil McClintock was born June 5, 1883. Now, not much is known about McClintock's personal life before or after he recorded 4 sides for Columbia Records. Interest in his recordings has been revived over the years, and they are prized by collectors. McClintock is commonly referred to as Lil. It has been speculated that this was either an abbreviation of Little or a reference to his tall, thin figure. Blues singer and harp player Raphael Neal was born June 6, 1936. Neal was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and raised by his aunt and uncle on a tenant farm in Chamberlain, West Baton Rouge Parish. He began playing the harmonica at the age of 14. He played with Buddy Guy in a band called The Clouds. Neal toured globally, and in 1997, his harmonica playing was featured on the album Swampland Jam by Tab Benoit. 9 of his 10 children are also blues musicians, and several performed with him on his later releases on the Alligator label. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. Now, if you want to know more about these artists or other things that happened this week in the blues, be sure to follow our social media pages, or just go out and visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. We'll have a new episode next week where we'll talk about Skip James and blues guitarist Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Now, believe it or not, on June 7th, we'll be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, playing an after-concert party for Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and we're pretty excited about it. Well, blues fans, we'll see you next week.